Hello, guys. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching from. It's your lovely channel, Python Exploratorium. I'm also thrilled to explain things and computer programming to you guys. So today we have a very interesting topic called permutation. Although it's kind of a recursive movement, but it's in this in this aspect, in this context, what we are dealing with is permutation. We have permutation like this, permutation and combination. Yeah, so they are all part of an algorithm in computer science. So let's look at. So I'll take you to this nice IDE I normally use from GDB. Yeah, I just love using this IDE. So what exactly is permutation? Permutation is kind of like should I say arranging words. Okay, for example, it's best if I show an example. For example, if we have ABC, let me try to increase. For example, if we have ABC, so if we are being asked what is the permutation for ABC, now permutation is just like, for example, if you have ABC, so the permutation of this will be, if we are using A, it will be BC and CD. That's it. That's the permutation of it. But if we are using, let's say, if we are using the three characters, the three elements there, so we have ABC. We're not going to use the ABC. We have BCA. We have CBA. So on like that, on like that, on like that, on like that. So how many permutations can you get in ABC? We can actually find out by coding a simple algorithm. How many permutations can we have in ABC? Let me reduce it a little bit. Okay. How many permutations can we have in ABC? So let's start coding. So let's say we have a function. We have to define a function. We have a function of permutation, which we hold a string. I'll just type it out and then I'll explain exactly what I'm doing. I love I love coding first, then I explain everything to you guys. String at the index of I, front, go to string at the index of O, and I, back at the string at the index of I plus 1, and step, then together front plus back, then permute to permutation, that's together liter plus pocket. Permutation gives IRS, let's say ABC, so let's see what happens. So as we can see, so a permutation for ABC is CBA, BCA, CAB, ACB, BAC, and ABC. So let's recap. Let's know exactly what is going on here. Now, we defined a function. We define a function permutation that takes two parameters: string, which represent the original string to be permuted, which is this ABC, and pocket, which is a temporal storage variable used during recursion. This pocket is supposed to serve as a variable, like that is like a saving constant that holds the string one after the other. So we now said we define a condition here. There's a conditional statement here. We said if len string, that is if len ABC equals 0, then it should print this. Now this is the base. This is the base of the recursion function. It means all characters have been used to form a permutation. This is a core thing in this function, because it tells this function that everything is set. It tells this function that everything is set. You can now print what you have. And now we later defined an else statement with all of these codes. which I'll be explaining now. So now this else statement is saying if the string is not empty, if this string, that is this ABC, is not empty, the function enters this S block, which obviously the string is not going to be empty. It enters this else block statement. Now what is the else block statement saying? The else block statement is saying it iterates, that is, it loops over each characters. It loops from A, B, C in this string, that is this ABC. It iterates from A, B, C. In each iteration, it selects a character letter from the string at an index of I. Now, inside of this ABC, this for loop enters and iterates through. It iterates from A, B, and C. It creates two strings. Are we seeing what I'm saying? It creates two strings, which is this and this. Now if we try to remember what I said about index slicing, because what happened there is nothing less than index slicing. Now we define a variable called letter, and then we pass a string I at the index of this I. This I means this I now has iterated through this ABC. Now this I is holding the value of A, still holding the value of B, and still holding the value of C, and is checking the length of the string. It's checking how many are they here. As you can see, there are two, because normally computer normally starts from 0, so 0, 1, 2. Even if we try to print I, you see it. So let's try to, as you can see, let's try to go up a little bit. Up. So this ID. Okay, as you can see, 2. So let's comment out this. So we have a variable called letter at the index of I with this string, which is this ABC. Then we have front. This is a variable called front, and it's at the index of 0 from 0 to I. That's from 0 to the length of this string called I. And then we defined another variable called back, which holds string from the index of I to +1. This +1, I told you, is a step. It means that it should print the last character also together. If you're using this index slicing stuff, I know sometimes it's a little bit confusing, but you need to understand exactly what it's doing. So we defined another variable called together, and then we added, this is just called normal Python concatenation. this is Python concatenation. So we added this front and this back. The reason we are adding this front and this back together is to get the letters together the way they were, because if we don't add this front and this back together, we will have different results entirely. Okay, so we've already added this front and this back together with this. So we call out our function. You see permutation. Together we bring this variable together that we added with front and back. We add a comma and then letter, this another Python concatenation, then letter, which is this letter, plus pocket. I told you it's the variable holding the element of each of this string. That's why you can just call it pocket, like when you put something in your pocket. Yeah. So what will happen if we did not pass any thing to string? Let's see what happens. You see it prints none. Why? Because we said that if the length of this string is equal to 0, that means if there is nothing in this string, it should just print this pocket, and this pocket is not holding any value, so it will print none. Run it again, it's still the same thing. So what about AB? Let's pass AB and see what happens. Obviously it's only AB and BA. So, and one thing, we need to be very careful about how we pass permutations, because it can get pretty much slow, because depending on the amount of elements you pass to it, let's say if we pass A, B, C, D, E, F, it can get pretty much long, just as you're seeing here. These are all possible permutations of A, B, C, D, E, F, almost more than 100. Okay, my name is Power. Let's try to see if we try to pass Power to it. Let's see what happens. See, so it can get pretty much long. As you can see, it's still printing. Upon all these thousands of words here, it's still trying to look for all possible scenarios. So let me stop it. So that is it, guys. I hope you learned something about permutation today. Thank you so much, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this channel. Thank you, guys.